Okay, here we go. Things are already kicked off. eSuba on the red side are defending against DiNG on the blue side attacking. Now, going back to that first question, Mojo, why are DiNG using all bat chats here? What's their tactics or their plans with it?
You don't have to play always with Arty. Arty is when you expect someone to, I don't know, play around the 3 line or the hill. And if you want to play more mobile, you just take all the mediums. So why not all tier 9 and 10 for more mobility and clipping power? At the moment, they're a bit spread out. They have Positive and Ilian down waiting, and Andrew fell for that trap. He actually fell for it. This is something we've seen several times this season. When the tank's down on H2, just align the guns and the player where Hulknik is spots who is climbing up, and they just fire a few. We'll see. Will there be a counter rotation now immediately by eSuba?
So it looks like Kaznik are actually pushing down on here. Tomasek takes a little bit of damage, 82.
He shot himself!
That's what I was just thinking. Did he just hit
He
the rock?
shot himself off the rock with HE shell.
Tomasek backing off too quickly there, hitting the rock and splash damaging himself with his own HE shell. A little bit of panic there as Positive and Alien were pushing onto him. Now, UKS was rolling back down to give him additional help, as it looks like there's going to be a potential fight between eSuba and DiNG round about that F2 area. And there we go, eSuba making the push now. Combat coming down the hill, Frawley taking the brunt of the damage. Positive and Alien haven't taken any damage yet, but they're going to get overwhelmed. There is an overlap here, mainly of eSuba tanks. First one to drop here is Alien on DiNG. Counterfire coming back, and there's a massive counter rotation coming back from DiNG. No, they're actually staying where they are, Mojo. They're just letting these guys die.
They need to kill Andrew and start the cap. That's what they need to do, because these guys are dead and you cannot change anything about it at the moment. Hulknik is dead as a dodo, man. So they just need to kill Andrew so there is no decap. Put 3 guys in and hope for the best, because they already lost this on base judgment. Honestly, Hulknik dropping down was also a gross mistake, because he just didn't expect so many tanks there. Look at this play. What's going on here?
Breakneck ramming Andrew off of the hill. He's now in a reload. Andrew's in a reload. Who's ever going to get... Breakneck almost killing himself, going off too much there. Mary coming back in to save him. Breakneck taking a huge amount of damage for a situation totally not needed. And the health pool advantage that DiNG had have almost been thrown away. It's now 4 guns, of DiNG against 5 of eSuba.
This is still going well because they have 20-some seconds on the cap. But the problem is Breakneck is on low HP in the front line and Mary is in reload. So this is the huge advantage that actually eSuba has now, and they need to monetize, they need to press on immediately.
Breakneck again taking another shot there. He's left on 7 health as we see Mary here. The symbols on his tank means he has a broken turret ring, so he currently can't move his turret. He has a dead gunner as well. As eSuba come in, they smell blood. They can see that they can close out this round. Karitz and Mary need to drop, but no. Shockish gets a kill on Looking, but that brings it back to 4 on 3. Oh, could still go any game right now, Mojo. I mean, eSuba have the 1k health advantage, but DiNG could potentially still come right back into this.
I don't think they can, because they already lost the cap, they lost the guns, they lost the positions. Both of these guys have gunners. This is just a mop-up operation at the moment for eSuba, and they are well aware of it. Let's not neglect the fact Combat is almost on 100% of HP. He is alone enough to finish all of these 3 guys.
Combat pushing in for the kill as Ukets is... Oh, he gets the kill here on Shockish. Karitz and Mary are going to try and run away, as we can see the view here from Combat as he's chasing them down. Karitz is now the only person left for his team, and this is round 1 going to eSuba, and DiNG looks like they are still not able to recover from that match yesterday.
I don't think even this has anything to do with that. This is just eSuba playing rather risky and outplaying them. DiNG brought some peculiar choices in this. Yes, sniping up on Andrew, it's fine, but rotation on toward 1-2 line blindly after that, why? I mean, this is not very well thought. It's really surprising for me that a team leader like Karitz would do something like this, because it's obvious that they didn't actually know where exactly eSuba tanks were. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. And then they just leaped blindly there, expecting something.
I was going to ask you now, when they pushed round on Hulknik, Positive, and Alien, and it was just, I think, Hulknik was the last one to die, and you could see that all of these super tanks were down low, would Kazna had enough time to triple cap if they just tried to triple cap?
DiNG, you mean?
DiNG, sorry, yes.
But they had to take care of Andrew first. That was the top priority. And it was not a job for one guy. So if they had 3 cappers and 1 guy dealt with him alone, I believe they would actually finish the cap, because you saw that cap actually came to like 10 seconds to the end. Yep. So they would 100% cap if they had such a possibility. But for some reason they were not able to do it.
You can see here top damage dealers, Breakneck. I mean, mainly that was in the duel with Andrew, I believe, on the hill. There was quite a few missed shots between the two of them there, and it went a bit panicky as the two of them then rammed each other down off the hill. Shockish and Kuritz. I mean, Shockish, tier 10, sorry, should have been doing a bit more than that.
No, that's tier 9. I mean, Kuritz is tier 9 and
Yeah.
Shockish is 10.
Yeah, well, eSuba taking that first round against DiNG, and DiNG's losing ways, shall we say, continuing.
This could have gone even worse for DiNG. I mean, if that 49 didn't panic so hard and shoot himself, if he actually connected,
Yeah, if he'd connected
on
to
a
someone at
butt
the start,
shot, this
yeah.
would be even shorter game. It was obvious from the start that these guys down will die. They thought this is like a partial push by eSuba, so Halknik actually went out to
they
help them.
started off with 4, then suddenly the whole team was there.
No, not the whole, like
Apart
5 or
from
6.
Andrew, yeah.
5 or 6, but still, it was a massive mistake. Halk should have stayed up.
Well, we're going to go into round 2, and there is a slight change-up in the DiNG lineup, and eSuba Mojo are bringing Arte.
Okay, eSuba playing with 5 butt shots, TVP and artillery piece in attack. Usually people play with 6 butt shots in attack, but yes, okay, you can play with TVP in the background. DiNG in defense playing rather standard, as we said already, almost every time.
Be interesting to see, can DiNG win this round? Will they take it 1-1, or are DiNG going to lose another round, go down 2-0, and then it's going to look like eSuba are in with quite a good shot of winning this entire match? Potentially.
It's too early, man, for such a prognosis.
Well,
Rather too early.
Everyone was calling it yesterday at 4-0.
After 4-0, yes. But on 1-0, it's rather not even started.
Okay, so now eSuba red side are attacking against DiNG blue side defending. How do you see it going, Mojo? Do you think it's going to be 1-1?
I believe that DiNG can actually defend this. They need to play rather RT safe. There are positions for that, and they should be well aware of all of them. eSuba will probably leave 1 tank in a base and play with artillery, while 5 others are flanking the hill slowly, gathering their positions and trying to push them away so RT can shoot. But obviously we've seen that DiNG actually did that to Kazna yesterday, so they should be well aware how to deal with such pressure.
So here's a viewpoint from the artillery player right now as he's looking for targets, zoning in over towards where Merry is. The little red line means he's not going to land where he's currently aiming. Green line means everything's okay and good.
Well, it was a bit chaotic view by him. He has some super sensitivity.
Yeah.
But you can see how DiNG is positioning their tanks. Where Merry is, this is not a standard position where you place a player on the start of the game. That's only when you expect no one to push. And they're gradually gathering forces from the backside of the hill, and you can see there is 3 of them actually there, in case eSuba dares to do some fast push from that backside, because we've seen them actually do something like that against Kazna when they took out Highbound, that very corner now where is Ilian, and killed him for free. So there is always a part of DiNG that is doing a bit studies against the enemy. Positive took a bit of a shot in the back now, but here he is RT safe.
Or not?
Yes.
That's safe. He shot. Okay. So he's hugging that terrain a bit more cautious. I mean, he's going for it. He wants to trade with Andrew here. So he's pushing up on the lighthouse, but I mean, he's going to find out quickly that eSuba have 2 tanks up there, not just 1. It looks like CNNK actually got a connection on to Shockish earlier on. Kuritz get himself spotted. Very lucky there, that last one coming in, no damage. Alien's pushing up on the hill to help his teammate. Kuritz taking a lot of damage there. Positive's taking damage now on the hill. They're trying to focus onto Frawley, who drops down safe. Gets himself behind the terrain there into cover. And will Artie connect with either one of these two? He wants to go with Alien.
Well, there is always a possibility for RT connect something later now, but they already lost 1 position on Frawley. Frawley's only chance to come back in the game is to go together with Tomaszek on 1-2 line. Interesting, I didn't notice CNNK is actually playing in this match. He was usually just a replacement. We never saw him play until this game. And he is one of the older players in the Gold League. He was actually playing 2 times already, mainly in Lucky Kuraki.
Okay, now, I mean, if you're eSuba, Mojo, how'd you break down DiNG here?
But so far, so good, man. Like, they're in the lead. They noticed that Kuric is spotting this side here. They probably guessed it that he will even be there. That's why CNK is positioned so with TVP, and he really punished him heavily. Now the key positions are up here on the hill. If Artie actually connects on Positive, or if Positive takes some shells from another parchat, DiNG will be in a deep trouble actually.
Positive having the overlap of Alien being able to take a shot when he's on reload or when the other players are distracted. It means that Andrew and Frawley have had their health chipped down there. Frawley's had his health chipped down on the bottom fighting on 1-2 line, but Andrew up here on the hill has been trading with Positive, and Alien also just got a snapshot off there as Ukets gets a shot into Positive there, and Positive's return shot bounced off the upper armor of Ukets. That Batchat, when it's angled, sometimes can deflect some crazy shots. But no, they trade, and Ukets finally gets the kill on Positive. So eSuba have first blood in this round.
I don't really understand the play by Positive there. He was on low HP, he came to the front line instead of Ilian, and then he was trading? Why would you do that? I mean, I know he was scared that Artie will finish him off if he tries to go back. Ilian is now in reload here. He is covered by Breakneck, who is sniping from behind on his TVP, but...
I was going to say, Alien can get hit by Artie there. And he can. 9-4-3 right onto his head.
This is exactly the same position we've seen when Oops played Artie. Insane shot here on Frawley from eSuba. eSuba knows that very well. They felt it on their own skin.
Hulkneck trying to do the climb, but not making it here round the back. Alien's now moved off into an Artie-safe area. He's going to try and fight round the back of the hill at the moment, but that Artie connection has actually changed that entire fight on the Lighthouse now because Alien doesn't have the HP to trade with these guys. Now, I was going to say, Mojo, I thought that perhaps Positive was up there to bait out the Artie shot so that Alien could then push over with his HP.
No, you can't because they were all well covered. And look at this, these guys are now climbing slowly through these lines, so they are actually going to completely ignore 1-2 line. They will pressure everything they have around the lighthouse here and toward the 2 cap, so they can shoot them in the back, and they will push in the same time probably over the mountain. So that will be their strong play, and they can afford it because they are around 1000 HP up and the gun up. You can say they're not really a gun up because they have an Artie, but it's doing good.
Okay, I tell you what, Mojo, let's have a look, let's have a listen to the team speak right now from eSuba and see just what's going through their minds at the moment as they push here into DiNG.
Ne. Tak jej dál, počkej. To nemůžu. Jo, mi to jasný.
Já bych tam mohl, ne, kdybychom si ho s tím bavili.
Hej, já tam za ním vyjedu. Já musím za ním vyjet. Svítím už, jo, prole.
Co kdybych si najel tady víc níž a zkusil ho?
Kurva, já už tam jedu. Odkaď? To píč.
Bacha. On bude vystřílený jako.
Tebe pojď teďka vystřílit.
Tebe to bude vystřílit.
Pojďte tady na mid, vy se připravte, jo? Já tam pojedu. Za chvíli pojedu. Zkus.
Tam nejezdit, jo.
Kolik vystřelil ten Ilian?
Tebe podalo 2 a jeden dal paťák.
Takže má 1 minus.
Zkuste tady něco prosvítit zatím.
Jako ten Ilian tam bude mega nebezpečný.
Tam mě střílo někde to TVP.
TVP. Já jdu dopředu.
Jo,
já bych mohl skočit na Iliana jako teď.
Pojď, můžeš, pojď. Pojď.
Ty vole.
Abym. Máme další minus, Ilian na ránu.
Jo, bylo moc rychlý.
Pojďte, tady musíte na to TVP. Pojďte na toho bata. Máme i heal. Breakneck.
TVP musíte dát.
Tomášku, neboj se, jeď, Tomášku, jeď.
Jdu.
Bacha na 49. Na ránu, pojď.
Dopnu.
49 jeď pro tohodle.
Dám bata.
Musíte se schovat za barák. 49 jede mate, jo?
Já mám ještě 8 do nabití, zkusím pak šokyše.
Jedou na Tomáška.
Jedou na Tomáška, jo? Šli dopředu, Tomášku, dopředu.
Zabijím 40.
Pěkně.
Meritorus Tomášku. Má track. Pojď si to rozboří.
Máme heal, jako. Máme heal, no, ale...
Dejte to na tu Artinu.
2,5 minuty.
To je tam nás...
Oni budou schovaný.
Je tam rozstřelit ty paťáky.
A udržete na spotu prox. Jo?
Asi
od tebe neodjeli, že jo? Bacha, pojedou na mid, musíte je svítit proxy.
Máte 2 minuty hlavně.
Jako musíte je furt svítit, tak já neujedu.
Já nechci, aby on odjel pryč a pak mě rozsvítil.
No, tamhle.
Svítím, no. A kde je druhý, vole?
Tam bude taky někde asi.
Já ho nevidím jako.
Já si jdu dolů tady.
To
Juke,
je-
já ho
může
můžu
na
vidět.
hilu.
Tam je ten druhý Andrew.
Já když si couvnu, tak on...
Myslíš, že tady bude někde na trepu?
On tě vidí, no.
Hej, nemám je dolů, jako můžu jediný co? Nebo
No,
obě to
zkus-
celý,
zkus
obě to
to, no.
celý a zkusit nějak merit.
Tak pojď sem, hele, pojď sem, tady. Andrew.
Minuta 40.
No, už tam není ten bat. Bacha, může tam, zkus Juke nějak víc spot.
To vám jedu, tak zkusím.
No, on už
Zleva.
Lol prostě.
Proto jsme chtěli, aby se to svítilo.
Však já jsem to svítil.
Tady stačilo, kdybyste byli na proxy. Můžeš na Juke?
Juke,
Já jsem teďka se motal, kurva, na kamenu tady, sorry.
Ty jsi mu mohl dát 2 rány minimálně.
Vím. A teďka jsem v kundě už, no.
no seš, tak musíš jako
Aspoň to
furt
switch?
musíš je
Víš co?
svítit, že jo? No tady nepojedu druhou, že jo?
No jeden.
Okay, we've gone right to the wire here, Mojo. Uket's now trading off with Mertorius and Hawknick on the top of the hill. Can Combat make his connection? No, he's not reloaded. Extremely well played from DiNG here, salvaging the win from what looked to be really eSuba in the driving seat with 4 against 2.
I would say it was a rather sloppy game by DiNG, but they managed to pull through because they guessed where is the attack coming from eSuba, which wasn't really hard because they were spotting the other side of the battlefield and they knew with losing a tank so early they actually have to gather up with their forces. So good play by them in that regard. Yes, picking up the pieces of all the mistakes they've done, yes.
Yep, it was unfortunate as well. At one point, one of the DiNG players was on reload, the other only had 1 shot, and if they pushed over, they could have got them, but obviously they had no way to know. We could see that from where we were, but they couldn't see that from where
Yes,
they were.
that's why we were saying it's important when you count shells. You talk to your teammates, but in all the chaos of the battle, they probably didn't have that kind of control. So they were not 100% sure what's going on. DiNG actually pulled off this round not smoothly enough for my taste, but game is a game, so it's better than being down 2-0, I would say.
Yep, it's also worth saying that while we were listening to the team speak there of eSuba, eSuba are a Czech team, so that's why naturally they were speaking in Czech and not English. So settle down, chat. I know what you guys are like right now. Breakneck coming out top damage there. He was, I think, number 3 or 4 last time round. I was expecting Hawknick to perhaps be a bit higher there, Mojo. He did survive in the battle for quite a long time. Ukets and then Andrew, I mean, 2 kills. Hawknick actually picked up 5 kills in that round.
That's quite a lot for him. But all in all, this was eSuba's game to take, and they just didn't find a way. Look at this. Koritz was practically out of entire match. Like he was spotting one flank, but he did nothing damage-wise. Lukin also, we noticed when they pushed around, he took a lot of beating for nothing. Very careless play there. And Froli, who is usually one of their best budget players, not a great performance in this one.
I would say actually the focus on trying to get Elaine where he was actually cost them a good almost 3k HP across the tanks that were so focused on, like the first one, like you said, Lucan came round, he took 3 shots for nothing, and then another tank went round to try and get Elaine as well. He took at least 2 shots in the face as well. Then I think it was Andrew coming right over the top, trying to ram Elaine, not getting a ram, taking some damage as well. There was just so much damage for trying to get one tank out of the way.
Yes, but they had no choice. He had to be killed or he would shoot them in the back all the time. But the execution was rather poor. As I said before they even pushed, if you want to do that, you need to do everything in the same time. So the pressure has to come from all sides. We saw that they had like 2 tanks on the middle sitting, doing nothing, talking to each other. Will they push or not? While they should have already been in DiNG's faces.
Yeah, yeah. So just a little bit more coordination, but I mean, just good so far from eSuba. I mean, we've saw from past experience, DiNG are not untouchable. You can defeat them. So we're going to go to Mines now for the next map. Let's have a look at the lineups, Mojo. What can you tell us here? Is there any surprises?
Well, DiNG is actually playing with identical setup in defense as yesterday, while eSuba is playing what we call a light attack setup, with 3 budgets, 2 TVPs, 113, and Lorraine RTPs. Now, DiNG played this rather decent against Kazna. Kazna actually had quite a bit of a problem to deal with them. They even tried blind shooting with Grille, with position behind the house where Kranwagen is, which we'll show later. what will eSuba do this? They will actually have to utilize their RT to try to push off some of the DiNG's players and then work around with RT without taking so much damage. This is the only way how the attack will work.
Okay, well, we can jump into the first round here on Mines. It's eSuba versus DiNG. It's 1-1. Let's see how we go here on Mines.
Mines, a small summertime map with lots of hills, rocks and other cover. The teams start the battle in the usual locations, but the base locations are different. One is located in the bottom part of the village and the other one is in the water. One of the key objectives is the centre hill. That's why the teams will often select fast vehicles and tanks with strong turrets for cover.
Now, eSuba red side attacking against DiNG on the blue side defending. Both teams heading for that hill area, and I imagine eSuba are going to make all their climbs pretty perfectly because they do so, but no, they're just going right through the middle bit.
Yeah, they don't have a reason to go around because actually DiNG doesn't have any kind of big setup to deal with it. But UK's taking quite a big chunk of damage there from Koritz. And actually, DiNG chose to play aggressive toward the hill here with a late push from the heavies.
So Hognick and Alien were wanting to push up onto the hill, but there's a fight on the other side as we can see Frawley and Positive exchanging shots. Frawley going down here, he's caught out in the open. One more shot and he goes down, and that's first blood here to DiNG. DiNG are taking some damage in return, but so is looking Tomasek and Andrew of eSuba. We're about to lose Hognick in the Kranwagen, and Mojo, this has got absolute chaos from 0 to 60 right at the start.
This is going really well for DiNG because they took out already 2 guns from eSuba while losing Kranwagen. We already see why Kranwagen is a weak tank when he's flanked. He's perfect in cooldown, but like this is everything going as planned for DiNG. They're already flanking, this is a pincer attack, and this is almost over.
Shockish missing a big shot there on Ukets with his E100 is breaking. It goes right into the face of Andrew. Kreitz is up there to be able to get the derp gun into someone's face. As we see Breakneck here picking up the kill on Andrew. eSuba are left down to 4 tanks and not a lot of HP. DiNG have 6 tanks available to them and enough HP to trade with them, and this is all over already, isn't it, Mojo?
This is a rather fast round, as you can see. Only people left are Ukets, Lukin and artillery piece. It's gonna be done in next 30 to 60 seconds, as it will take for DiNG to find them. What went wrong here for eSuba?
Exactly what I was going to ask you.
They were rather split. They didn't take kill in a full force from the start. And after that, it was pretty much already done, because all DiNG had to do on the middle is hold them off while they killed this village split and then deal with the rest. If they had everyone on a hill, it could have been a completely different story.
Yeah, I mean, there was a fight on the back of the hill that we didn't quite see, but it looked like Frawley got caught out of position, got clipped from Positive, and he had another tank supporting him, I think.
They lost 2 mediums there.
And that went down really quick, and then, as you said, they could just push through the middle without that crossfire. This is like the DiNG of old in a way. I mean, I prefer it. I quite like it when DiNG do something like rush, do something like really decisive with their tactics, because they can really punish a team who are not ready for it.
Let's see, will Combat manage to derp someone here? Breakneck is coming out. Yes, there is quite a bit of connection here, but just not enough.
Breakneck survives, picks himself up another kill, and gets vital fantasy points for me, you, and Daki. Not bad.
You guys have him.
Not bad. Now, that was a lot more convincing from DiNG, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very one-sided game, but I really don't understand why did eSuba play so casual in the start. They were just expecting DiNG will camp from the start. Why would they do that? There is always a possibility for counter-attack with the builds like this. You can always push a hill a bit later. We've seen numerous teams take it. They don't have to do it from the start. And I simply don't understand. Why is eSuba playing so casually against such a dangerous opponent?
Yes, I mean, and DiNG were the defensive team as well, and they were the ones playing most aggressive. I mean, top 3 damage dealers coming out here for DiNG. We see Alien, Breakneck, and Positive. So Alien is in our teams as well. Mojo, Breakneck actually had 3 kills in total. Then the next 3 players coming in for eSuba, and then 7th place Shockish in E100 connecting with 2 shots. We saw him missing one of the ones in that melee in the middle, putting it right into the ground in front of him. But yeah, there's a lot of other tanks there you would like to see them doing potentially more damage.
This is really, really bad round, but this is, let's say, not surprising after playing, let's say, 10 rounds here eSuba has only 20% win rate on mines, while DiNG played more and they have still above 70%. I mean, they're just that better and more experienced. So this was one of those worst maps for eSuba, and honestly, this is a moment where DiNG can actually break off and maybe take even a next round in attack.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, the attack, we're going to see the team switch positions now. So DiNG are going to attack and go up against eSuba, who are now going to be defending. Now, how do you see this one going, Mojo? Do you see any unusual picks being used, or do you see it fairly standard picks?
DiNG is usually never playing something super unusual, especially in an attack. It's just a question, will they use an arty or not? Usually they don't, but recent losses might change their ways. And no, they're playing against again without it. With 3-1-1-3 is something we've already seen before, while eSuba is playing with this mouse meta combined with Grille. We've seen mouse used especially by Kazna, let's say, a lot in defense.
Yeah, we've seen it go on sometimes aggressive in defense as well. Now, in the last round we saw Kramwagen being used by DiNG and eSuba going with mouse. Totally different tactics for the different vehicles, yeah?
Well, DiNG had a E100 and a Kranwagen and a 113. So they were kind of united nation of tanks there.
Okay, so what will be the... I mean, when it comes down to tanks like Mouse or E100 in lineups, Mojo, you're taking those tanks mainly for just different tactics completely then, yes?
Just give me a sec. Yeah. When you play with a mouse, his prime perspective there is to kind of proxy the hill and to be a meat shield to protect the base, because when you push him, you actually have to go in and deal with him. He has a decent DPM for such a tank, like 12 to 30 seconds, and he can do wonders by bouncing. So all in all, we've even seen how Kazna used him with a binos, so he was sitting there and spotting in a distance. But if you manage to play around well around it, you can actually damage him quite a lot, even with HE grenades from distance. We've seen that even 1-1-1-3 can be more than enough if that mouse is not well protected from the side.
Yep, and it can fall down really quickly with focus fire if it gets surrounded. I mean, eventually what happens is a push comes through the middle and the 1-2 line at the same time, and the mouse and whoever's beside him just disappear. But usually the team that does the pushing takes a lot of damage for that as well. So, I mean, it can always... It's never quite a decisive move when they do that.
It's just a question, do they even want to kill him or just go by kill everyone else?
There's always that option as well. You can just ignore the mouse and drive
Usually
past
when
him.
you push that side where mouse is defending, and it's mostly the position below the hill, they don't really push him before he's already on half HP.
Yeah.
So that's not the same story then.
It's a kind of bait in a way, the mouse, isn't it? Because it's a health sponge, it's a bullet sponge. You can take a lot of punishment.
He is kind of a spotting machine with a lot of armor and HP.
But the question is will it work or not? I mean, it's a very, this is what this tactic is. It's not a very flexible tactic they have for defense,
How can we know? It's not dependent on a mouse alone. It's dependent on all the other eSuba players. Are they going to try the boost? Will they manage or will they fail? Will DiNG even focus on that side, or will they play from the another side? Maybe they will find a way how to break the 1-2 line toward the water and completely ignore mouse and take him out of the equation.
That is true, that is true. It could go any way. There's one thing for sure, Mojo, we can't predict anything, but let's jump into the battle here, round 2, and see how exactly it's going to go. Now, eSuba, red side defending against DiNG, blue side attacking. There is some climbs that can be done from DiNG here. There's not a lot that can be done from eSuba. It looks like Ukets and Frawley, he's going to push Frawley up to the safe way, and Frawley's going to get positional advantage there.
You can see how DiNG is going in numbers here toward the hill, because they're expecting if there is a huge push here by eSuba, they will be able to deal with it. Actually, we've ever even seen a game where DiNG lost pushing the hill like this. I think it was actually against GRS.
Even with that mouse in their lineup, because they have artillery, eSuba are roughly about actually bang on 1000 HP actually less on team health pools, lower than DiNG.
And you can see CNK has binos here, so he is positioned so he can monitor toward the climb, and he will peek out occasionally to see what's going around the corner and so on, especially watching these lines. Ilian, again, this is his standard position. We've seen him play this around this rock quite a lot. At the moment they're guessing where the RT is. I'm pretty sure they will know very soon that combat is on 4 line and not over the village. And that will make them bring some decisions, and probably one of them will be that they will not play the water side.
Now, we saw Frawley getting pushed up into that position at G8. Now, sometimes, or earlier on in the season, before this map was slightly changed, a lot of Batchats in that area would continue to climb. Why are teams not generally going all the way now on that climb?
On the 8 line?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that climb is rather good, but if you're attacking, you first need to take care of this mouse. You need to pull him back so he doesn't have the bino zone. This is the job of this 1-on-3, and this is what I was saying before. It's kind of a tricky position because this 1-on-3 can fire on him from the fade, so unspotted, while he's spotted by Alien, who is above him and giving a proxy spot. What proxy spot means, he's close enough, he will see him no matter what. And this guy can just fire and go back behind the... you can see the connection now, 491. That's even a high alpha that this 1-on-3 gave him. And when he pushes him back enough, then a Batchat will take some speed and go up. This is the second part of the danger for eSuba. Oh, he's really doing a number on him here.
And he's turning his turret more into the thing to give him a bit more of an angle there, so it actually makes the shot easier rather than making the shot turn away from him. Now, Mojo, are you able to draw and actually show us here what you want to get across here?
This is what we were talking about. Alien from this position is constantly giving a spot on this guy here. So he is getting sniped by this 1-1-3. No one can really return a fire here because only guy would be able to do it is RTPs here, but he always just returns after shooting. So when they're sure they can do it, they will just push a Batchat up. He will go and he will find angles to shoot down on the mouse and eventually on Andrew. And after that happens, they will be just able to choose. Will they push entire force, remaining force through the village like this? Or if eSuba is really in dire position, they will just push from some other side they choose. But this is more or less the tactic they have. And this is the weakness of this mouse. And what I was saying on the start of the game, if you remember. If this mouse has protected flank, he is a killing machine. But like this, he's just food. That's why usually people leave a person next to the house, right below that one cap, but that's also a tricky position to play and requires quite a bit of more protection. Well, not all HE shells do so much damage.
The thing is here is Mary's going to go through a lot of these shells, but another kind of drawback, and in a way a kind of lucky thing for CNNK, is the 113 is not a tank that's really well known for its long-range accuracy.
Yes, but shooting HE, you don't have to be really a lot of accurate. And I'm pretty sure, knowing that he will probably have to play that position, he will have at least 10 to 15 HE shells. That's quite a lot of potential for spamming.
He'll be well loaded up. Now, Breakneck, you can see him just waiting for the acknowledgement from Shockish to say hi, go and climb. What I was asking earlier, Mojo, sorry if I kind of posed the question wrong, is from Frawley's position, why don't teams continue the climb? Is it because they know that the hill is already claimed quickly and they'll get eliminated climbing in that area? From
the Frawley side, the defender side, it's a big problem. If you are not actually aggressively playing toward the hill, you cannot push up because you're just gonna get sniped down by the attacking team. They will send a fast spotter. Ooh, Breakneck is getting wrecked while he actually did get spotted even with mouse being pulled back. I was just going to say, Shockish has gone forward to try and bait out the shot from CNNK so Breakneck could run up that area. Now, Breakneck got hit by the Gorilla and the Arty Splash missed him. That double hit combo could have done more damage, but another hit comes in on CNNK and he's pretty much now on a one shot in that mouse. So much damage has been done to him by Shockish. Shockish is going to have a pretty nice amount of damage done by the end of this battle. As you see, Positive now also taking a hit on DiNG. I mean, Shockish is playing like he's a farmer. Andrew got shot and he's
on
burning
fire.
up.
He's on fire. He's going to go down potentially here. One more tick. No, he survives. 51 HP. That is so lucky. Tomasek, in the meantime, gets the kill on Kreitz. Now, actually, Mojo, I really want to know what is going on right now in DiNG's TeamSpeak. So let's have a listen and see what they're doing.
Готовка 4.
А может меня отсюда светится?
Шот.
Куда ушел?
У меня 10 пулек осталось.
Давайте вот этого бата сюда. Да будем пушить.
Все, есть.
Хорош.
9 пулек, у меня 9 пулек.
Этого не знаю, сколько, 1000, по-моему, осталось. Или
Нет,
нет,
100.
100.
А, 100?
Он доходил.
3 минуты исполнил.
Вот этим упадешь на голову, вот этим заедешь сюда.
Я понял.
ТВПшка законтришь вот эту херню.
Where do I go? По-моему, уезжал. Да.
Мэри, Эллен, you Джамп.
Хорош.
Мэри, газу первый. Мэри, газу
Я
первый. КП
поехал.
нет.
Я тоже поехал.
На
Гален,
КД.
не
Тут
третий.
никого нет.
Это
Я
бат
стою.
минус 3, бат минус 3.
Я в свете. Ну, он в кустах что ли стоит?
Я говорил, что он кустах стоит. Или с
Лампа.
плакам на свете.
Лампа.
Надо вот сюда проехать.
Минус одна в этого, минус одна.
Сколько это дал Фроли? Минус 2 уже, да?
Мэри,
Две.
бат, убивай вот это все говно внизу. Вот бат. Забей на это, вот сюда стреляй.
4 он уже дал.
Я стреляю.
Он КД брейк.
Не, дай пуль.
Не, сейчас он КД. Лол, что за инфа, блин?
Я его доберу.
В круг поставь на всякий случай кого-то.
М,
падай, Мэри, не
Я
падай.
немного застрял.
Ну нахера ты стрельнул-то, ёб твою мать, блин.
Арта КД.
Я
Кайф.
зашел.
Альфаник.
Шок я был на арте.
Yes.
Падаешь нахер на 2 батов, блин, и мажешь по шотному, блин.
Ну, в этот был КД.
Ну так нахер стрелять, ну,
And there we have it. Shockish closing in on his 4th kill. He's easily done about 4k damage, I would imagine, killing the mouse pretty much single-handedly, and DiNG taking that extra round here on mines, both rounds now.
Was impressive also. I think Kurit managed to pull a shot on Grille in his back, set him on fire. He got spotted for it from the butshot on the
Yeah.
H2 and killed, but still it was well worth it. And Breakneck from the top of the hill had complete control of the map. And this is, as I said already, DiNG managed to take entire mines. They're playing it quite better than eSuba. eSuba was here completely outplayed and on down foot all the time. It didn't look like even they had idea how to respond to the pressure from the DiNG. They were just locked off all the time. You could even see that Bachat in the water when he tried to cross. TVP was just waiting for that.
Yeah.
Oh, free food.
Frawley and Hulknick head on and both pretty much clipped out each other, although I think Frawley missed one because Hulknick came back over with just a little bit more HP.
You
but
cannot really trade with TVP, man.
yes, I mean, the thing that I just kept noticing was it just kept coming up, Shockish killed, you know, like,
Man
he
is
had
on
a
mission.
monster game, an absolute
is on the
monster
mission.
game. Let's have a look at the stats and just see how far above everyone Shockish was. 4.5, 4 kills. Talk about team carry there, big time.
Well, whoever has him in fantasy, he paid off handsomely in this game here. Frawley, the guy that was the budget who was climbed up from the eSuba, and Tomaszek, they're the only one who actually had any impact on this game. I believe when we check out the mouse, it's going to be quite insignificant. Kurit, that was one shot of damage. He
One
did it
shot
with
of damage.
1300.
Yep, one clip and then just the fire there onto the gorilla. Breakneck was the one, actually I was getting mixed up. Frawley wasn't over on the water. He got rammed by Breakneck.
Positive. What's going on with you?
He's not having the best of all matches recently, to be honest, for DiNG.
Yesterday, he was actually, I think, best of the DiNG's players.
CNNK Mojo, I think that's what, one shot, two shot?
CNK, this one,
I have no idea, to be honest,
It's one.
what the gun of the mouse does.
490.
490 average, okay. Okay. It's getting a buff, potentially, though. Potentially. We'll wait until the final patch notes are out, but I think with Daki saying mouse meta, he's expecting to see more of them in future plans.
We will see if armor is buffed, especially if he gains even few kilometers of speed. Everything is happening. Everything is happening. If they say the significant buff on T95, I'm really waiting to see is that significant buff like 2 kilometers per hour or something like that,
Well,
because it's going currently at 13.
Daki was saying it was going at 20 now on the test server.
That sounds so wrong, man.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
That thing is so big, it doesn't look like it can go that. I mean, no way.
Yeah, well, I think we could maybe see. We saw it being used in APAC on Himmelsdorf, and funnily enough, Himmelsdorf is our next map, Mojo. Now, DiNG currently lead eSuba 3-1. Let's have a look at the lineups, Mojo. You're saying you think it could be all over here in Himmelsdorf, potentially?
There is a high chance that this map will be the end map for eSuba if they're thrown off, even a slight test here, because, again, this is a map much better played by DiNG than by themselves. So, in that regard, I believe this is a chance for DiNG to close the match, because if they go to steps, it can go on a lot of ways.
On attack here, how are eSuba going to use these two E100s with the IS-7?
It's always about the cap pressure. It's always about the cap pressure. So I7 probably going somewhere toward the 8 line, 50Bs for flanking, and E100 probably over the hill.
Well, let's find out if you're right or not, Mojo. It is 3-1 DiNG eSuba. Let's go to Himmelsdorf.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
Now, eSuba, the red team, are attacking into DiNG, the blue team, who are on defense. DiNG have the black and white camouflage, and eSuba have that rather fetching blue, white, and black camouflage.
Interesting part is here, okay, DiNG is of course going to check out the rail first, position their TD to shoot over the 8th line, but only one heavy tank from eSuba is going up on a hill. Everyone else is rather aggressively positioning to trap and so on. Overus is really offensive in his I7 going toward the 8th line.
Overus pushing up here, down, pushing up the banana roads, as it's known, an area on the map where quite a lot of heavies tend to go to, especially in random battles. This is where you always find the heavy tanks dueling against each other.
Yes, only 150B up on a hill. Both E100s are waiting behind for I7 to check out their chances here. Positive is lined up for a shot on D line. So we will see Overus is still spotted. He already took 2 shots. If he doesn't fade and he tries to cross that line, there is a heavy chance that FVTD will just end him up right there.
Hulknik has gone forward here. Now he has faded, it looks like Overus. He's going to gamble.
Look at Positive now.
He's knocked over the streetlight. That might have been noticed by Positive. He's aiming dead on that area. Overus is spotted.
Dun, dun, dun.
This could hurt. This could really hurt if he's going to go for it. He's just trying to bait out that shot. But it looks like Positive's not going to take it. He's not going to take it till he has a clean shot. Combat's moved up now as well. Whoever crosses that road first is going to get a nasty, nasty surprise.
And the thing is, they really don't have what to, I don't know, counter Positive with in this moment. And they're actually committing more resources for this. I believe that Tomaszek will actually go in full speed, give a spot for them before anyone else goes.
Tomaszek stopped as well. Everyone's held up in this corner. No one wants to take downs. But someone has a line on Positive. Someone's getting with them. Frawley up on the hill. Positive backs off, and now the team can move. That was well played. That was well organised by eSuba to allow the team to move forward.
That was a decent play here, managing to chase him away. But there is a lot of DiNG guys already waiting on the upper cap. So far, both teams exchanged some damage. Positive taking around 1k, which is less important for DiNG because all they need from him is one good connection when the fight starts. So we're gonna say it again, like we said X times before. It's important that that kind of TD connects while the fight is on and not come later when half of the tanks are already dead.
Now, Mojo, normally when teams push, they seem to push from around B7, but now we see the 2 E100s moving up into this road on the 5, and they're going to get potentially surrounded here as Shockish and Breaking It come around the back of them as well.
They're doing a guesswork that Meritorious is, as he usually is, in his IS-4, hugging the building there, so they have Frawley in his back so he cannot pull away, and they're going to start chipping him off from here. But
Looking missed.
Combat
hit with his shot, but Looking missed. That was a vital shot he needed to connect there. Now everyone knows what E100s are. Ely and Positive are going to come around and clip into him. Positive with the shot, hoots, he hit it into Combat right in the face. That E100 is going to go down. They're going to continue to focus fire on him. eSuba are about to lose their wedge of armor here. In return, we can see that a kill has gone in eSuba's favor as they drop Positive, but this is not looking good for eSuba.
This was also a massive mistake by DiNG not finishing off Combat on time, allowing him to shoot one more shell. This is actually something eSuba can come back from. We will see now. It will be a lot about the player skill because it took DiNG too much time to kill these 2 E100s. And they still now need to deal with 350Bs.
Mary is still alive right in the middle of everyone here. He has one shot left on him, but he just got left as the team circled around him. I guess everyone thought somebody else would get him, and he actually got the kill on the tier 9. Ukets finally gets the kill on him, but by leaving Mary behind, the team potentially took a lot of damage because of that. And now DiNG are easily in control here with the HP. As we can see now, Frawley coming around to kill off Shockish. Overus has a shot on him as well, face-hugging him. back in favour slightly to eSuba, but now Hulknik is the one getting shot at here for DiNG. eSuba still have the HP advantage, and they have the armor advantage. Can they get it to finish off in their favour, Mojo?
They have the game here. Breakneck is the only one guy left together with Kuric, who is 1390, while they have 3 heavies now in the play. This was important kill by Kuric, but still he's in reload now, and Andrew will come out of it and just wipe him out. And then it's only Breakneck against 3 guys. It's just not gonna work. I think DiNG really messed up with shooting on those E100s. It took them too much time. They didn't focus them out enough. Shooting extra shells with those E100 lost DiNG maybe even 1500 to 2k HP, for sure.
So many shots coming in here, just vital shots round the corners. Andrew got one into Kuric, and I think it was Overus who got one into Breakneck as Breakneck was retreating. Kuric drives into the wall, set on fire, and Andrew finishes him off. Kuric wasn't, well, he could have potentially just got over that hill in time, Mojo. He was right at the top.
He was right close to the top, but he was trying to hug the wall to get lesser angle so he cannot get shot. But still, even if he ran up, they would have 2 guys on a cap, and only Breakneck would be the only guy who would do anything about it. This is not a great game for DiNG, and it was really not a good display. Decision making was fine. It was all fine. Just the execution and shooting was far below their level.
Yeah, I mean, the first E100 took a heck of a punishment. Breakneck's about to go down here. He does go down, so eSuba bring this back 3-2 with DiNG still in the lead. Now, when they focused on the first E100, I guess what potentially happened is too many people shot the same tank at the same time.
No, what also happened is that Combat actually survived on some minuscule health, and no one finished him off for a couple of seconds, and he actually did 1 more shot of damage. Then, while the battle was shifting, the tanks were not focusing enough on the other E100, and he fired again. Like, he fired once when they pushed, and he fired again.
Yeah,
That's not something that you need to allow them. Like, that was too much given to them. I was really surprised because it all went well for them. Mary was surviving for a hell of a lot of time. Also, the shot by Lukin on a start, like that snapshot with E100, what was that, mate?
If Lukin had made that shot, it would have made the fight a lot more comfortable for eSuba. Mary wouldn't have been able to survive. Mary wouldn't have killed the Tier 9 Batchat. I mean, the Tier 9 Batchat just came around, he's like, hey guys, I got it, and then Mary just shot him in the face. But, I mean, Breakneck here, last person alive for his team, you can see why so many people want him in their fantasy teams. I mean, the man's an absolute monster.
He did 4k damage here, but it was not enough. Also, it was a really surprising one moment for me. He was scared to help to Shokish, who was in real trouble. And Breakneck was actually a guy who could have saved him, but he thought that there are other people chasing him, so he actually didn't peek out and he didn't shoot the people tracking Shokish and keeping him permanently stuck there. So, in a matter of speaking, yes, he did sell him out, but maybe that was even a normal decision because he was guessing that other people are much closer than they were.
So Positive got that 1 shot off at the start of that fight, and then got eliminated, got absolutely annihilated, and he was the main focus from eSuba when they wrapped round. Combat got his 1 shot off. I didn't see Luke in there. I didn't quite catch where he was on the damage, but it's nice focus fire from eSuba, I guess. They did not want to...
I think Lukin did 1 shot of damage.
They didn't want anyone to have to deal with another shot from Positive. I mean, the FE has no armor, so anyone could pen it, but...
Well, we can see the sequence down how the games went so far. Who picked up both of teams on Cliff defense, and DiNG taking both sides on mines, and on Himmelsdorf now eSuba taking their attack. So eSuba will now go on defense, and a lot of things, good things for them can happen.
Yes, that's for sure. I mean, DiNG
This is not something I expected.
DiNG don't have match point yet, so it's not going to be decided on Himmelsdorf. It just goes to show, guys, whatever you think is going to happen before these matches start, you're just as well turning it upside down or switching over, and you're more likely putting names in a hat and drawing one out of what our result's going to be right now.
Yeah, I mean, some people even asked me, can you give me tips? Like, you now can you see a gambling for all tanks? What tips, like, man?
No,
like, I don't know myself how some of the matches will end up.
It'll literally pin a tail on a donkey blindfolded right now to find out. Now let's have a look at the lineups going into round 2. RU251 coming out for DiNG there. Why would you choose that over an AMX?
Because AMX is more like a stationary spotter, and Light pressure tool when you want to put him in a cap. While RU is an active spotter, so they will probably use him to really fast go somewhere where they need him, maybe over the hill or somewhere else. If they have a tactic of a sort, maybe he will even go toward the courtyard immediately, see what's going on there and run away. Because this is a rather fast and mobile setup by DiNG that can rotate.
Okay, now let's jump into the battle, Mojo. I was just going to point out here that they actually have very similar lineups, other than they have different scouts, and DiNG has a Gorilla, whereas eSuba have a Kranwagen. Other than that, the next 5 tanks are all the same in both teams. Now, eSuba red team defending against DiNG blue team attacking. eSuba look to be pushing into a right-hand defense, not really caring about the train tracks.
Yes, they're sending only Froly in Kranwagen there. This is something super strange to see. Combat is going down in his Bacha together with Froly, so I guess they're deliberately showing themselves while they're actually doing the real hand, the real play with other tanks up. It's sort of a trap. I guess they want to make DiNG actually come their way up on an 8 line.
So Froly combat, we're looking at the viewpoint of combat here from his actual player viewpoint. This is where he is aiming what he's looking at right now. You can see the equipment he has in the vehicle. He has optics, and I couldn't get the rest out because we switched off, but you can see the equipment and you can see the consumables on the vehicle he's using as well, which, I mean, that's always important because it tells its own story with whether they can heal crew member if they die, which is really vital for bat chats, or whether they've taken something like rations, which means, you know, you have a boost to your crew performance, but if somebody dies, you can't bring them back.
This is super risky and daring play by eSuba here. You can see they're putting their all cards in hope that these two guys will kind of make DiNG think that the entire team is there. So they will shift toward the 8 line, but we can see it's not really working because DiNG is really checking things out. Is it really like that?
I was going to say, it looks like DiNG are not taking this bait. They're shooting and they're aiming and posturing towards areas where they would expect to perhaps be spotted from or see evidence of tanks from eSuba. Now Froly gets spotted backing off there by Breakneck, who misses his shot. And Mary's moving back away positive, and Grease does get spotted on the hill by Tomasek. But how much information? And actually there's a big connection there on Froly in the Kranwagen where he gets ammo racked as well, gets his ammo rack damaged and repairs that immediately.
He was shot by Positive from the hill because he was passing between 2 buildings, so Positive had a clear shot. So far, some free damage here for DiNG and a very smart play by them. But still, it's not too late for eSuba if DiNG actually presses toward the 8 line. They still have a chance to come back.
Looks like it potentially might work. Now Mary's going to go to the hill as well. Breakneck and Hulkneck are starting to move back over towards the Banana Road, as is Alien and Shockish. And it looks like there's still a potential for DiNG to take this bait. It's just all about how long...
No. With such a displace of tanks. Look at this. Look how Breakneck is playing toward the courtyard. He's checking out the things. They already have people on the hill. So even if they move on the 8 line, they will actually have a pincer attack. And the ones in really bad position will be eSuba guys. Because for this trap to work, it would require DiNG to actually blindly push toward the 8 line, seeing the tanks on the rail and expecting no resistance there. So they would lose 1 or 2 tanks before the real fight even starts because they will get focused out. But this, if DiNG goes now toward the 8 line, it will be slow, meticulous approach.
Breakneck spots out over us. He's going to go over here. Can't see anything from the corner because you can't see through those buildings on the corner. But he's just going to stick his butt end out and see what he can spot in a minute. Now see if there's any squares come around to player names on the top right hand corner of eSuba. That means they're spotted, or if in this indeed from watching this viewpoint their name goes yellow, that means they're currently spotted by an enemy team. And Overus is shot at and he loses his gunner. Not what you want to happen in a 1-1-3 because it already has terrible accuracy from the start. Losing your gunner means your accuracy is even worse.
Well, obviously, thank you for that explanation. But this is a really bad position here for eSuba. Overus is trying to angle his tank so he would not lose any HP. But look at this, like DiNG is playing super patience. The patience is the name of their game. They're just checking out every corner because they do not want to go in any kind of trap and in any possible situation that they will end up eSuba having actually equal points with them.
Now, eSuba, how long are you going to try and hold that position for? You must think to yourself at some point, okay, I think they know what we're doing, boys. We've already taken a spread of damage. We need to do something. I mean, they're almost 3k HP down across the board here compared to DiNG. DiNG are in control here completely. eSuba are a bit spread now. Here comes the initial push down the Banana Road, led by Shockish, Hulknick behind him. Alien ready to come round and support. And they would have to go all the way to try and focus Lukin. Lukin's the bait, and they're not taking it. They're just going right past them and going the other way.
Well, anyways, when they go through here, they will be able to shoot both ways, so they don't have to be between to deal with that.
Oh, brakes, brakes on us. Hulknick sees that one and goes, whoa, guys, whoa. Now, Tomasek pops round the corner to try and get a cheeky shot off an AMX. Alien goes round first to trade shots. Here comes the combat now. Shockish is able to deflect a lot of shots. Hulknick taking damage in a moment. And just look at the health bars here of eSuba falling all the way down as DiNG are able to get a brilliant focus fire down here. Andrew is on a one-shot. He's going to go down in a second. Frawley's on a one-shot. He's going to go down next. And DiNG are in complete control of this fight right now. Lukin goes down in a matter of seconds. And eSuba are on the ropes here, and DiNG are looking for the knockout punch.
This was pretty much one-sided fight. The moment that their, let's say, trick or ruse failed, eSuba had no idea what to do next. There was no plan B, there was no backup. They could just hope that DiNG will do a mistake, but DiNG did the slowest possible approach with the most information, and you can see them closing this game so confidently and easily.
Combat wanting to get that last kill there. He got 2 kills in that whole situation as Hulknick just pins them up and gets the kill. Now Tomasek is the only person left. He's between a rock and a hard place with nowhere to go. Alien picks up that kill and DiNG are now on match point before we go to map number 4, which is going to be Steps. Well, it's better for DiNG, that's for sure, but eSuba are also playing better as well, but just too rigid, I would say, Mojo. Not flexible, not thinking to themselves, okay, we need to do something different now.
Well, unbelievable to say, but actually eSuba this season is far more experienced team on Steps than DiNG. DiNG actually ruled Steps in the last season, but in this one they played only 2 games and won 1 of those, so like 50% success even there. While eSuba played quite more, like 8 to 10, and they have almost 90% of win rate. And they even pulled off some of the games that looked completely lost, but they managed to bring them back into their grasp. So, I don't know. I mean, there is a potential here for eSuba to come back, but of course, this first game, DiNG might try to surprise them.
Positive now stepping up for top damage there in the Gorilla. I mean, top 5 players all coming out from DiNG there. They were in complete control of that situation when they started to push. Positive top, then Alien, then Hulknick, then Mary, then Breakneck. I mean, nobody really from eSuba was in that. I mean, Combat had a field day at the end, picking up kills, 2 kills.
1390 is a second damage dealer for eSuba. How bad can it get to have that?
eSuba did. I mean, the 50Bs didn't even get I mean, I'd be lucky if they got their clips off. They got so focused so quickly. You can see UKS only got 3 shots out. Andrew got 4 shots out. Frawley, like 6 shots, nothing connected in the Kramwagen. It was all one-sided here, all completely one-sided by DiNG. They controlled the pace of that. They didn't take the bait, and they pushed in really decisively in that top corner and really controlled that fight and owned it, basically.
Yep, it was all about DiNG. Really nothing eSuba could do there. Their pony didn't do the trick.
Yep, one trick pony. It was a dead pony, really.
And obviously DiNG studied eSuba, and they know that eSuba actually likes to play around the 8 line quite a lot. So they were expecting something there maybe. So I don't believe it was really a fluke that they were checking everything so thoroughly.
Okay, and now Steps is going to be our 4th map of the day. I was going to say, you know, there's always the potential for tiebreaker, but let's not bring that up right now. I mean, maybe we'll get a decisive win from DiNG here. Anything's kind of stand out here for you, Mojo?
No, we've seen defense with Kranwagen more than once. It can be used in 2 ways. They can push him over the rail and press with the rest of the tanks toward that side of the map, or they can play laid back with the Roo climbing up or staying in a bush and Kranwagen just waiting in the cooldown. Since they're playing against Lorraine Arti, I don't know about that waiting period. I hope DiNG will not do it, because that will actually give a great opening for eSuba to work their way in the game.
Okay, well, let's see how this one's going to go. DiNG on match point 4-2. Are they going to make it 5-2, or will eSuba come right back into this? Let's find out, because we're going to go to steps.
Steps, the most open map in the league. The attacking team appears near the rocks at the bottom of the map, and the defending team starts at the top. Bases are located near the railway and on the green. The best way to control them is to use the lowland near the second base. The attacking team usually begins the attack from the rocks and the railway, but sometimes they can attack through the green. Teams often drag vehicles from flank to flank, so both teams usually pick light vehicles with a good camouflage rating, but sometimes use tanks with a strong turret and even SPGs.
Okay, let's see how this one goes as we're looking at DiNG right now. No, sorry, we're looking at eSuba, who are the blue team, rushing out there on the attack. DiNG on the blue team are defending here, and Kreitz has already made the climb at 8-1, and he's 8-1, 8A. But Hulknick is already taking damage here in his bat chat. So, Combat now driving out and open and taking damage as well. So, trade for trade already. That one not going in Combat's favour, because he also picked up a damaged fuel tank in that exchange.
This is something I said already. I'm hoping to see from DiNG. They will actually aggressive play it over this side of the map. They will cut off eSuba, so they don't establish positions and start grinding them with that artillery piece. It's normal for Shokish to cross over there. And Kreitz climbed up immediately on A0, so nice play there, but Shokish being careless, picking up a first shell by artillery.
Hello from Artie. Shokish, Positive. Lovely climb there. Always nice to see someone doing that one first time. It is probably one of the most difficult climbs, I think, in game, from what Daki was saying. I certainly do remember watching Daki trying to do it multiple times. Now, Mojo, how's this one going to go? Look at the rotation already here from eSuba.
Important part, immediately DiNG pushed like this to chase away any possible positions here from eSuba. While they were doing that, they climbed the budget here in this position and the light here, so they can dominate both of the tanks. And now you can see the rotation immediately because eSuba is sensing so. They will try to play on this side here, pressing I7 toward the cap. He will have binos while he's doing so. And if Artie manages to connect on this route, they might have a game. But if he doesn't, they're toast.
Yeah, that position from the scout up in A0 vital, because it gives a commanding view of the number 2 base and lets the team know if anyone's doing anything, but it's also a very brave place to be when the attacking team brings Artie, because it is possible to one-shot the scout up there.
Well, we've seen Spoink in a role of scout, getting one-shot. So that is something very familiar here. But that guy just has bad karma, because we've seen him getting one-shot more than once on this very map.
Yep, it's not gone his way, but we have seen some fantastic artillery shot connections up in that area. It is something that Kreitz, I'm sure, is aware of. Kreitz will keep himself mobile. He spots Overus and now moves immediately. Artie will be aiming pretty much exclusively at his area, or no, it's actually aiming towards Breakneck. I don't think that one's going to connect.
No, he has time to relocate and aim. The point is positive. I mean, Kreitz, he's gonna get spotted only when he shoots. It's not gonna get spotted just by moving left and right, unless he does some major mistake, of course.
Now, Over is sitting in here behind this rock, right beside the base, not wanting to start the cap yet. He does get shot at in the back there
by Kreitz.
A little hello, I'm up in this area, as he connects with Mary there. Just lurking out a bit longer there, Mary, and that's not an exchange you want. And Mary looks like there's somebody else behind him, shot back there, putting one into the ground. As Mary's going to be the one to push on Overus now, pretty much commanded by his team to go forward. Kreitz coming in there to get a shot, missing. Overus not looking Mary's way. Now he sees him. Who's going to get a shot? If they both shot, no, Mary shot and missed. Overus just coming off reload now. Mary gets shot at again for 380.
This is nicely going here for eSuba.
Again on Mary, and he's lost his driver now.
This is a well play for eSuba. I can't say I really understand why is Mary playing super aggressive, but Kreitz is already in a problem there. He's getting shot by S7, and I'm pretty sure Artie is actually in position to finish him off. You can see the tanks of DiNG already closing in, because they know they will be forced to fight very soon.
Positive coming all the way around the back as well, but there is a bat chat high up there. Looks like Combat all the way back, actually behind his Artie. Artie's aiming towards where Mary and the Kramwagen were spotted. Could potentially be going for them rather than Karitz. They're just waiting on Karitz to pop out again. Overus is aiming up in that area. And it's going to be Shockish popping over the hill using the turret armor of the Kramwagen. Shockish actually missed with his first shot. Artie hits him. Shockish connects with the second shot. Shockish is tracked at the moment. Who can actually get shots into him right now from eSuba? This could be dangerous for Shockish, but he's able to back off safely and deflect a truckload of damage there.
But Shockish missed 2 of his shells and he's now in reload, while most of eSuba is pretty much unscratched. Positive, yes, he is doing the flanking here, but combat is right behind him.
Now there's a pincer movement coming in here from DiNG, but look at the damage going on to Alien right now. Alien is down now onto a one-shot. Hulknick is down now onto a one-shot. Positive's taking a lot of damage as well. eSuba are wrecking DiNG at the moment, HP-wise. They're looking falls on eSuba. eSuba have lost a tank, but you see Andrew charging in here with all the HP, and he's going to get the kill on Positive. Mary and Shockish push into Overus and get the kill on him. eSuba still have a massive HP advantage here on DiNG, however.
They do have more than 2.5k here, and it can enhance grossly now when Breakneck actually falls, because once they're up over the reload, they can do it. But Andrew, what are you doing, man?
Andrew face-checking there in the middle of the map, driving over with no cover whatsoever into a crossfire of DiNG, and just lost all the HP he had for pretty much nothing in return. Didn't even get a connecting shot there into DiNG, and that was probably a misplay, which might have cost eSuba the match right now.
This is how to sell a game one-on-one. It's still not over though, eSuba does have a significant advantage, but this light tank up is now so annoying. You can see how well they are protecting their teammates. Everyone here is on low HP except Shockish, but still eSuba is not able to close in the game. And Koritz is farming them like a boss.
Karitz constantly getting shots to back. Combat desperate to pick up 2 kills here. He has enough shots to do it. He gets a kill. No, Mary survives still. Mary surviving slightly. No, it's actually Hulknick surviving slightly. 139 health. Shocky's taking a lot of damage. Mary did survive. 48 health, but still the dead driver. And it's Karitz constantly chipping away at the health right now of eSuba from up on this hill. Getting the kill now on Frawley. It's only Ukets and the artillery left. And this has been a one-man show from that scout up on the hill.
This Koritz, he's a bit of a joker in this game. Like, usually he just dies without doing more or less no damage, but in this game he performed magnificently. He is the sole reason why DiNG is still in a play. And eSuba, what a mistake by Andrew, what a mistake.
Finally, artillery gets a connection here on Karitz, but now the tanks of DiNG can just push round here. UKS can get shots into him, but Shockish is leading the way in the Kramwagen with the armor. Mary's just hanging back. Shockish is the one who was able to take a truckload of damage for his team. Mary, unbelievable how he managed to survive there. Combat was desperate for 2 kills there. He had Breakneck on a one-shot, he had Mary on the one-shot. You saw, like you said, you saw the Batchat hiding behind the 113 to survive him, to shield him so that Combat couldn't get the kill. And that was just really nicely played by DiNG there to protect what they had left.